Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today I'm checking out a 2022 INFINITI QX80 four-wheel drive and the sensory trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 275/50 Bridgestone tires wrapped around 22-inch alloy wheels with a gloss silver finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors on all four wheels. The name of this color is Anthracite Gray, and pretty impressive. It goes well with this vehicle, I think. It's not like a dull, ugly looking color. It looks really nice. Especially with the wheels. The wheels have a good finish on them, and then you have the chrome here in the front. The chrome is completely around this grille that kind of matches the wheels here. So that right there kind of matches and blends in with the wheels. And then you have the chrome huge emblem there, and really nicely integrated his little camera under there. There's also parking sensors across the front here. So there's one there, and they're kind of integrated into the different portions here. And then there's a radar adaptive cruise control there in the center. These areas here kind of imply wheel well ventilation, but they're just kind of blocked off. But they do have really nice LED fog lights down here. And the headlights are a LED projector for the low beams. Really nice headlights. You got to check out my night video on this vehicle. Very impressed with a lot of the lights. There's some drawbacks on this vehicle, but you should definitely check out the night video to see the pluses and minuses. So looking at the profile, you can see it has a well-integrated side step here at the bottom. Makes it a heck of a lot easier getting in and out. The doors actually go all the way to the bottom to that point though, which is nice. And I'll show you why I say that in a minute. Handles are chrome. You have this little chrome accent right here, and it's kind of like pointing here at the edge of the light here, kind of connecting that design. Also, there's chrome around the glass. You can see it all the way around here, kind of solidifying all this glass portion. Plus it has the gloss black pillars here doing that as well, especially if you were to tint the front windows. The side mirror is also chrome. And right here around the wheel wells is body color, so there's no like black cladding or anything like that. This is what the key looks like. This is a full proximity key system designed where you can just keep it in your pocket and use the vehicle 100%. It does have some useful buttons on here: remote start, lock, unlock, the ability to open up the power liftgate, and a panic button as well, and the physical key on the inside if you need it. Let's go ahead and push the panic button. Has a nice strong horn. But as long as you have this key with you, it can be in your pocket, in a bag. As long as it's on the outside of either the driver or passenger front doors, you can press this button to lock or unlock. So basically it will alternate. So right now it's unlocked. Push the button. Now the vehicle's locked. Push it again. It unlocks. So it just alternates like that. And then there is a physical key location here on the driver's side only. So the door going all the way to the bottom, all the way down to the step at least, and it has a seal right here and a seal there to kind of help out with the debris getting into this threshold area. So it makes it a lot cleaner than it would otherwise be. The intention in that is so that way you don't get your clothes dirty getting in and out. So it makes it a little bit nicer. And also you can see it's just a nice smooth entrance there. You're not lifting your leg over some ledge or anything like that, which is pretty nice. Now there is not super bright, but it does have a puddle light here, so it illuminates the ground as you get in the vehicle, so you can see what you're stepping in. There's also really bright lights underneath the vehicle. You got to check out my night video because you got to see it. You got to see those. They really help out a lot. So the inside of the passenger side door, really impressive looking. Kind of like a brown baseball glove type leather with the quilting right in here. Really impressive. Very, very soft surfaces all the way here, and here. Handles soft, and it has a stitching and everything. It's a really impressive looking door right in this area. Down here, you get some hard touch and then some semi-hard touch, but it's kind of soft right here and here. You can see right in there. And then the inside of the pocket's a hard touch. It has the Bose sound system. There's one of the speaker grills. There's another one up here. Right in here is for the blind spot detection system, and rear cross traffic alert indicators are in this pillar. And some vehicles have them in the side mirror here, but this one's separated for the mirror, so you don't confuse it with other lights shining and reflecting in the mirror. So there is a sill plate, and it is illuminated. The backlit illuminated. It says it has INFINITI badging here, and it looks better at nighttime. During the day you can barely tell, but it is illuminated. So the passenger seat, leather seats, really nice leather seats. It goes up, down, tilt, forward. This is to tilt the back, and then you have two-way lumbar adjustment, which is quite a bit of controls here for the passenger side. And these are heated and ventilated seats. You can see little perforations there. The quilting in the middle, really nice. They diamond quilted. Black piping or dark gray piping here on the edge. Plenty of legroom here in the front. The floor mats snap in place. But you can see it's just a nice clean area right here. This is a hard touch surface around the glove compartment. It is a locking glove compartment, or a lockable glove compartment. Smooth plastic there on the inside. This portion is like that soft touch, kind of rubbery soft, similar to what we see down here. It's like a similar type material. There's a handle on all four doors to help you get in and out. Now there is this kind of wood grain look here. It's like a plastic to make it look like ebony wood grain. You can see it there as well. And then the dash is another soft touch with the stitching in it and non-reflective surface as well. So the entrance here in the front, the swing of the door is great. The opening is really huge, and just overall entering and exiting the vehicle here in the front is just no problem whatsoever, especially considering you have that side step. So if the height's an issue, you have the handle and you have the side step, and it's not really, it makes it a non-issue really. And so it's really easy to get in and out. Same thing with the back door. Just wide open space. You do have a little bit smaller threshold area, but plenty of headroom. The swing of the door is nice. It has a handle and the step, so getting in and out of the second row is no problem. Third row, it's a little bit of a issue if you're really tall, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, so here's the inside of the back door, and you can see it has very similar styling with the quilting, the leather, the soft touch. You even have the soft touch surfaces down here as well. A puddle light, and then the pockets there, Bose speaker, the fake wood, all that. Looks really nice. You even have an illuminated sill plate as well. So the floor is almost completely flat. It has a little bit of a hump there in the middle, which is not a big deal really, considering you have the center console instead of the bench seat. So this, in the second row here, you only have the ability to put 2 passengers, but you can have the option of having 3 passengers back here, depending on how you spec out the vehicle. So the second row seats are really nice, very comfortable. They have they are heated as well. They have the perforations, the quilting, the attachments for car seats. Now they have these little covers though that you have to find a place for. So it's a little bit of not ideal in my mind to have those little covers. You have to take them off, and then you have to find a place for them or whatever, and possibly lose them. And be better if they had a different way of connecting it, but that's the way it is. So the back of these seats have nice stitching, and even have quilting on the back of the seat. And then there's a pocket on both sides here, and on the other side there's also these little entertainment screens here as well on both sides. So this seat has actually 2 modes. First of all, you can recline it. So you can recline it quite a bit. But using the latch here, we can fold it down, and then when you do that, it lifts up. Okay, so this is to access the third row. So you basically step, and get in, but you see how much higher the floor gets when you get to the third row. So that becomes the issue as far as tall people getting in the third row. The seats are almost on the floor, which causes kind of a problem. It's technically a 3-passenger seat back there, but as you can see, you know, the center part is kind of small. So there is climate control vents back here in the third row. There's handles up here, pretty good sized windows. Being 6 feet tall, this third row is just not good. So like the floor, I'm basically sitting on the floor here. So you can see the floor is just a few inches below the seat. So I didn't even bother to move that seat back in position because it's basically going to be too cramped for me. But it is good for, say, you know, small kids or something like that. Okay, if you take this seat and just push it back down, that's kind of like a cargo mode. So when you fold down the back seats, the third row, the second row, this gives you additional cargo space just added to what little bit you have to begin with. Sitting in the second row, it's pretty nice. So this one has a center console instead of the bench. So these seats are really good. They're very similar to the front, and you know, the floor is down quite a bit ways, so it's not, my knees aren't sticking up in the air too much. It has the pockets here, and also it has the heated seats, climate control, USB charge ports, as well as down here a 150 watt power inverter and a 12 volt power supply as well. Kind of way down there though. The center oh yeah, you can push this button and access the center compartment from this way or the front. But there's also a huge, arguably a bigger storage area in here. Goes way down in there. It's all felt lined. So it's just a large storage area. And then this opens up and there's some cup holders, and has like this little arm right here that kind of accommodates for different size cups. And you can take it out too. Take it out, clean it, put it back in there. Or you could take it out and use this for other things besides cups. So yeah, really nice. There's a compartment here as well. This is where you'll find the headphones and the remote for the entertainment system, but you can utilize this space for other stuff as well. So it goes in there quite a ways, if you can see in there. It's not easily accessed as much as, say, this, so I go and put those in here instead to be easier to get to. So these screens, they have there's a little button here at the top you can push, tilt it out, and there is a, on this side, there's nothing, but on this side is where all the connectivity is apparently. So there's a SD card input here on the left side, and then there is a HDMI and a regular USB input, and then there's headphone output, and then there's headphone output. So like if you have your own headphones you want to plug into there, you can do that, or you can use the wireless one as well. Taking a look at the back of the vehicle, it does have those roof rails up there, and it has the cross members in place, ready to go if you need to put additional luggage up there or surfboard or whatever. And it has a little bit of a little bump antenna up here, right there. And then the third brake light is in the rear spoiler, integrated LED strip. Has a rear wiper. Now the tail lights are almost all LED. So the tail lights, the brake lights, and the reverse lights are LED, but the turn signals are standard bulbs and are in this very low position, which is very strange. You could check out my night video for a full evaluation of this vehicle, but you know, that's one of the things that is kind of an issue, I think, having the turn signals in that very low position. The backup camera is located slightly offset right here. It's a little bit offset, and it's kind of in that position. It's kind of like not really well integrated next to the tag, kind of like an aftermarket tack-on type thing. Now this has the 360 camera system, so there's a camera here. There's a camera on one on each side, underneath each side mirror, and then you saw the one in the very front center. I'm glad the front is in the center. That's nice. But the intention is to take all those different cameras and stitch it together and give you a top-down view around the vehicle. But it doesn't stitch it together perfectly. So I'm wondering if the location of this camera is part of the problem. But you know, you could definitely see around the vehicle, and it's definitely better than not having it. But it's not stitched together as good as other vehicles. So the parking sensors are integrated here in the bumper, in the body colored portion. There's also a trailer hitch located behind this cover, and the spare tire is also located under the vehicle, under here. So opening up this power lift gate, there is of course the button on the key fob, but also there's a button under here. You can push that and it lifts up. So if you have the seats occupied with passengers, this is your cargo space, which is not very much considering the size of the vehicle. So it has a 12-volt power supply here on the left side, a little tie down here so you can like put a net pocket or whatever. There's a tie down there as well. Here, there's one here, tie down, another attachment there for a net pocket. There's also these switches here for lowering this third row seats. We'll get to that in a minute. And there's an additional tie downs as well when you fold these seats down. But this right here, this entrance area, for one thing, it has this bumper that sticks out. So when you access the cargo area, there's kind of like you're a little bit impeded by this huge bumper. But there is this metallic protection here, as well as here, like a little skid plate. And these are backlit illuminated. Has these little lines right here, looking nice. Looks pretty cool at nighttime. This opens up, and it has a teeny sliver of extra space here. This also lifts up, and this is where you'll find your tools and your jack for your spare tire. This comes out, and you can move it out of the way if you need to. Okay, so lowering these seats, basically you just push the button. So let's go ahead and lower this right one. Just push the button there and it comes down slowly. So with having the one seat fold and the other one not, you can have these with passengers in them. Say I have that seat folded down, I have this seat folded down, and I can still utilize these seats for passenger space. So if I have this long box, I can put it right here. So we can quickly add to our cargo space if we don't need so much passenger space. So same thing on the left side, we can lower that. And now we have quite a bit of cargo space. But it all depends on how much passengers we have in here. Like if we're going on vacation and we have a full entourage, then we're pretty much gonna have to use that roof rack because there's very little space back here for cargo. Now that I have the seats folded down, it reveals these little tie downs here and here as well. So that way if you put something in this area, you can have the ability to tie it down. So yeah, if you fold all the seats down, you have a lot of space back here. The console in the middle kind of gets in the way for really big boxes and stuff, but you do have the ability to add to your cargo space quickly, and you know, it just depends on how much passenger space you need. So lowering the power lift gate, there's a button right here. You just push that, and it'll come right on down. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, and you'll get very familiar with this sight because it does use a lot of gas. So this is a non-locking door. It has a traditional cap, tether, and a place to hang the cap here while you're pumping gas. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle, starting it up, you just hold the brake and push this button. There's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Plenty of room, just wide open space. There's the accelerator, brake pedal, a foot actuated parking brake here, and then a pretty decent sized footrest there on the left side. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch a little bit to the right of center. Right in here, you can actually see it because it is yellow. Reach in, move it to the left, and lift up. And it doesn't take much energy, and it goes right up by itself. So there's insulation under the hood. There's also seals across the back. This helps out with airflow and noise. There's also a big cover over the engine, big plastic cover. And so we get to see a bunch of plastic, I guess. So this is where the air filter will be. There's the brake cylinder with the fluid, pretty good size reservoir there. Battery with the insulation. So this is a 5.6 liter V8, puts out 400 horsepower, 413 pound-feet of torque, and it is a full-time four-wheel drive system. So it has automatic, which is the default four-wheel drive system, which is all the time, and then a four-wheel drive high and four-wheel drive low, which is separate. So it's a two-speed four-wheel drive system. And it also can tow up to 8,500 pounds as well. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. It has presets here for the seats. There's 2 presets, and that's how you set it right here. It also is a set for the steering column as well. All the windows are one touch up and down. So the one touch up and down, you see how fast they are. A lot faster than the power tailgate. These are laminated glass as well. So it's 2 panes of glass with an acoustic material sandwiched in between. The rear glass goes all the way down, which is nice. Goes fast as well. Door lock controls, side mirrors are adjusted here. You can also power fold them as well. So you can fold them in if you need to. Fold them out. Side mirrors are adjusted here. Just pick a side and adjust it with that little pad right there. And there's a really nice little light that comes down and illuminates this area in addition to the backlit buttons. You gotta check out my night video for that. So the driver's seat is equipped as far as the controls just like the passengers. Usually the driver's seat one-ups the passenger in some way, but basically it's a tilt. You got the height adjustment and a 2-way lumbar adjustment. But these are really nice looking seats. Very comfortable as well. Okay, to the left of the steering column, there's a few buttons here. So right here is the power liftgate. You can turn that on or off. So if you don't want that to open up automatically, let's say you have a low garage or something like that, you just don't want it opening up for whatever reason, you can turn that feature off, or you just don't want the kids playing around with it, that kind of stuff. You also have the ability to fold the seats behind you out of the way right here, so you can do that. So this is basically, let me go ahead and show you. So you can see it just kind of flops that seat right on down and lifts it up. So it's kind of spring loaded and it just kind of releases it. You just got to make sure nothing's in the way because this comes flopping up. So you can, if you need to do that, let's say somebody's in the third row and they need to get out for whatever reason and they don't know how to use the controls, you can do that here. I'm trying to think of a scenario in which you would actually need to use that, but anyways, they have the controls there. Also, if you need to turn off, say, the blind spot detection system, if it's just annoying you or whatever, you can turn that on or off. A heated steering wheel you control here, and the same thing on or off, has a little on and off light, and then this is to open up the power liftgate when you don't have it turned off. There's a tilt and telescoping powered steering wheel, which is nice. So I'm sitting in the driver's seat checking it out, and I'm 6 feet tall, and I have the driver's seat all the way down and all the way back. And even though that I have the seat all the way down, it still has this relatively high commanding position. It helps out with visibility. You feel like you're really tall, you're really high up in the vehicle, but you still have plenty of headroom. But you know, something kind of a little bit different that I'm accustomed to, where the seat only goes down so far. So I'm 6 feet tall, and I would have to pull the seat up a little bit. So having it all the way back is just a little bit too far back for me. So if you're a little bit over 6 feet tall, you shouldn't have any problem with driving this vehicle. Now the steering wheel is, it's a leather wrap, but then it has this like pretend fake wood here on the outside. It's grippy enough and everything, but the only thing is it's kind of thin. This is kind of a thin steering wheel. and has that real hard surface on the outside. So luckily, this is not a hard vehicle to drive. It's very easy. But if you tend to over grip the steering wheel, which I do sometimes, then it kind of digs into your bones. So it's a little bit achy on the hands if you're not paying attention and you're just kind of over gripping it. It's really easy to drive, so you don't really have to do that, but it's just something to consider. As far as the steering wheel comfort, it's not like super soft and it's really thin, so it digs into your hands, especially if you have large hands like mine. Okay, so the controls on the steering wheel. Look at the stitching before we get into that. Really nice looking. But yeah, I mean, the way it looks is really nice looking steering wheel for sure. Here on the right side is the cruise control. So you turn it on. Oh, and what's interesting is when you turn it on, it like changes your view. So I have the digital speedometer there, and when I turn it on, it takes it away. So now I gotta scroll back and try to find the digital speedometer because it's now gone. It shows this screen. So now I kind of have to scroll over here and scroll through a bunch of stuff. Keep scrolling to get back to the digital speedometer. So it's a little annoying, but it's something you have to get used to. Okay, so once you turn it on, you can set resume and cancel here. So it's pretty straightforward there. Set the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you there. And then you have voice recognition and then the ability to answer and hang up on calls here. Use the same button. Here on the left side, it has the volume for the radio. Now these buttons are a little confusing. The volume is here, and right here it looks like this will be changing through the audio tracks or whatever, but that's completely separate. It's actually here, and it's weird because it's up and down representing right and left, but it's a good thing it shows the arrows, so you can tell that this is forward and that's back. So on a list of songs on your phone or something, pushing up will actually go down. So it's kind of backwards to me, but I'm glad they have the arrows at least. And then the volume there, and then this button and this arrow and this back button corresponds with the screen, which you saw a little bit of it in a second ago, but we'll get into more detail. Front and rear wipers are here. Turn signals here. But you also have your headlight switch. So your fog lights controlled here. Headlights are controlled here, so you have automatic, parking lights, and headlights. And you can check out my night video for how well they work. The gauges are here, and it's pretty much a standard looking Nissan gauges. There's also buttons here. So this is the dimmer switch for the interior gauges here. You push here, and then this is for resetting the trip. So if you're familiar with other Nissans, this screen should be very familiar to you. It has the RPM gauge here, the tachometer, engine coolant temperature, fuel gauge, traditional speedometer, and then the center part has a screen which gives you additional information. Right now it's showing the odometer, the range, what gear you're in, digital speedometer, digital compass, outside temperature, the time, stuff like that. Whether the Bluetooth, whatever is connected to the radio. So right now it's Bluetooth connected, or that's the audio source that it's connected to. So let's use these buttons. So we have left and right, we have up and down, we have OK, and we have back. So let me scroll to the right again. So you can see my favorite here is the digital speedometer. But I scroll to the right and you can see it takes it away, and then we have fuel economy, and we can reset that. And then we have, this is basically the digital compass. This is whatever the radio is doing. So right now it's just showing that Bluetooth audio is what's selected on the audio source. Auxiliary gauges are here, and this would be the oil pressure and the battery voltage. Next would be the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. So this would be the adaptive cruise control system, which you can adjust right here. You can see that button right there, and you can see it has these different bars showing you the status of that, and you just rest on the one that you want. Scrolling to the right again. Well, let's go back here. Yeah, scrolling to the right again. You can see the icons there at the bottom. So it has forward collision warning, the lane departure alert system, which is actually turned off right now. And then you have the blind spot, which is off. Let's go ahead and turn that feature back on using the button we saw to the left of the steering column. All right. Scrolling to the right again, it shows our tire pressure. And this will not show unless we're driving for some reason. Scrolling to the right again shows any kind of warnings or messages right here. To the right again, we'll go into the settings, and this is where we can go in here and adjust things. We have the vehicle settings, in which we can go in here and adjust the lighting, adjust the time that the light stays on, locking. Now, when you do exterior door switch, you can turn that actually off. So if you don't want to accidentally push that button or whatever, you can turn that off, or you know, just use your key. And then selective unlock means that it'll only unlock the door that you are touching. It's not going to unlock all the doors, basically. All right. So there's a lot of different settings there. Scrolling to the right again takes us back to the little home right there, which is the digital speedometer. I wish it would stay there, because when you turn on the cruise control, it messes that all up, and I have to change it. But anyways, that's kind of a quick rundown of what this little screen's about. And those are the controls there for it. Okay, so we saw the start button there. So here's the touch screen, and you can use the touch screen using, of course, touching the screen, or there's also this little dial right here in which you can use that for controlling things as well, because it's not like super close to you. So unless you lean forward, sometimes it's hard to reach, depending on your seat position and your length of your arms and all that stuff. Okay, so the touchscreen is fairly simple, and it's just about like any other Nissan for the most part that has the system is anyway. You have these icons here at the bottom, but they kind of change depending on where you're at. And you have these little little shortcuts here, similar to like a cell phone, little icons there. So if you hit information, you can get information from different things here. Satellite weather, you're gonna get fuel prices, that kind of stuff, which is neat. Traffic, and this is all through the satellite radio system. Let's go to audio. We can change the source. So we have AM, FM, satellite radio, USB 1, USB 2, Bluetooth audio, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capable. And it is a wireless system, so you can have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto wirelessly. All right, so you can see that the menu is different now that we're in the audio. So now we have those selections there. If we want to go back to where we were, we have to go push this menu, and then now we have the ability to continue on. So we saw this one, now the map. We hit the map, and you can notice it's in this section here. If you want to expand it, you hit this button, and it makes it fill the whole screen, which is nice. It is a really nice looking map. You can kind of move it around. It's pretty responsive and everything. We can always hit this back button to go back, and then extend the map back in if we need to. Now you can see things are different again, so we have to hit the home screen to continue on. Connections is where you can connect your cell phones, multiple devices. You can connect a whole bunch of different phones. I think it's like 6 of them. Yeah, 6 of them. And then you have them set up as a priority, so you can have one prioritizing over the other, that kind of thing. All right, so the next one is the settings. And so you can set up the vehicle the way you want it. There's the additional settings than the ones you saw before. And a little interesting thing, the parking sensors are sonar. That's the way all vehicles are, but some people don't get confused, think sonar is only for like underwater or something, but it works in any fluid, including air, including gas, you know. Okay, so that's kind of a quick rundown of what the screen's about. It's relatively easy to use as long as you know that these icons are going to change frequently depending on where you're at, and you have to back up using the home button to get out of certain places to get back to where you were. So other than that, it's a relatively easy system to use. There is a physical volume knob, change to the tracks here, can change through tracks here as well. This is a tuner knob, that's more like a change through the tracks button right here. You can also push this in to go and adjust the audio. So like the bass, you can press it, press it, press it, and it'll cycle through different settings there. Four-way flashers are here. Then the climate control. So it has driver, passenger. You also have rear climate as well, which you can turn on or off here as well. So it shows you the temperatures, the status of the fan speed. It does have a cabin filter, so it's cleaning the air, and then where you want the air to blow. But there's this additional button right here, and this is interesting because you can, when you press that, it blows a little bit less hard out of these vents and kind of circulates it in the upper vents in the back and around the vehicle, so that way it kind of tries to evenly control the temperature instead of blasting it in one little area. So I leave that on, it actually works pretty good. Because without it on, it feels a little patchy. It feels like some areas are warm, some are cold, and you know, it seems like it was kind of struggling, I guess, without that turned on. So it does have the front and rear defrosters, heated side mirrors as well. This is where you change, you see the little indicator here for where the air is blowing, but there's the control switch for that. And then you have heated seat, 3-stage, high, medium, and low. And then you have a high, medium, and low ventilated seat for the driver, and you have the passenger as well. Right now I have the passenger side synced with the driver. You can unsync it by pushing that button, or you can just start turning that dial to unsync it. You can recirculate the air manually here, or you can have it recirculate automatically when it needs to. So right in here you can lift this up, press that and lift it up. And there's a 12-volt power supply, but there's also a wireless charger in here, so you set your phone this way and it will charge. Now there's no lights in here, so something to consider. And it'll let you know if the phone's charging here. There's this blank spot for something, I'm not sure exactly what that's for, but there is a USB-C and your regular USB ports there as well. The four-wheel drive system is automatic, but you can manually put it into snow mode, tow and haul mode, also four-wheel drive high and four-wheel drive low right here. And also you can disable the traction control. Default will be on, but if you need to turn it on, if you need to spin tires, then you can turn it off, but default will be on. So there's different modes there. The shifter is here, and it's a pretty traditional shifter. When we put it in reverse, two things will happen, a couple things will happen. The side mirrors turn down, the parking sensors turn on, and these cameras pop up here. And you notice it's not taking up the whole screen, but it does give you the ability to see right now behind you. But you can change that view. You can hit that, and then it shows what's behind you, and now it's showing you what's the side of what's going on with the side of the vehicle. Hit change view again, and you can see focus just on the back view. Hit it again, and it goes back to this view. So there's different views there. Also, you can turn the parking sensors off quickly if you need to here. It does have the rear cross traffic alert as well. So that's the backup camera. We'll get to more about the camera in a second. There's neutral, drive, and then you can manually change to the gears by placing it here. And this is for if you're like downshifting. So it's plus and minus. So if you need to limit your high gear, let's say you need some engine braking going down a hill or something, you can do it with that. There is some cup holders here, and they have a little bit of lights in there as well. And there's the dial for using the screen right here. And so it has audio, menu, and the map or voice, depending on what you're in or what you're planning on doing. So here's a little dial here, so you can make selections here on the screen. So right now we're in the map, and we can zoom in and out on the screen. We can also press this map button right here. If you press it, double press it, it'll make it bigger. Press it twice again, it'll make it smaller. You can also has a shortcut to go to your audio, the camera, and a back button here. So depending on what you're doing, you can turn this, make selections by pressing in, and you can see it pops up. And in this particular case, it's popping up additional options there. And we can scroll up and down and make selections there. So we don't have to use this touch screen. We can always go back out, and then the camera button, we press that. So before we were looking at the rear view, now we have the front view. So if we want to, like, we're pulling into a parking spot, as you can see, I'm not parked in the parking spot. I'm actually completely parked completely wrong if I was trying to park. But anyways, you'd be able to see around the vehicle, but you can see the stitching is not 100% around the vehicle, but you can still see good. But now this is the front view, so we can change the view, press that, and now we're focusing on, you can see the wheel there as I'm turning it. This is the front tire. So we can see on that side over there, that corner, what's going on with that tire. Press the change view again, and it focuses just on the front, like a super wide view on both sides, showing what's going on, you know, going both ways basically. Hit it again and it goes back to the original view. It has active guidelines as well, front and back. As I turn the steering wheel, those lines turn. So at any time, you can just quickly push that button and you can see the camera system, which is really good, really handy. Okay, so this armrest, very soft, comfortable, shareable potentially with the passenger side. And this is the one that we saw that we can access from the back, like this, or we can access it from the front, this compartment. And there's a little quick access tray here, which you can take out. And then it has a deeper area here. It's all felt lined. There's also the power inverter switch is in here. There's also a little place for wires to go in and out of this compartment as well there. The rear view mirror, it's actually it's like an auto dim mode right now because of the shade is covering up the light sensors. And the side mirrors are also auto dimming as well. See there? Both of them auto dim. But see, that's the auto dim part, mirror. And then this is the rear view camera, and it's auto dimming because it thinks it's nighttime. But having that rear view camera is nice. Once we look at the visibility, I'll show you why, but in just a second. But having that ability to just see directly behind the vehicle without any headrests getting in the way, pillars or passengers or cargo getting in the way, really nice camera back there. You can see directly what's behind the vehicle versus this, where everything's in the way, including my camera right now. Okay, so up here is a large place to put some big Hollywood sunglasses. Has felt lining. You can put safety glasses, or you can use it for pretty much anything. Little lights right here. This button is to have the interior lights turn on with the door. And then there's a little tiny like moonlight that kind of shines in the vehicle. You got to see my night video to see what that looks like. Interior lights all can turn on with this button as well. This is for the sunroof. We'll get to that in a minute. And then your roadside assistance is right here. You can directly call for help with that one button. Okay, so the visors have a black cloth material. They have a light and a little mirror right there. They have an extension here that pops out, so they don't slide out. Okay, so the sunroof, yeah, you can see it. Okay, so the sunroof has a shade that covers 100% of the light. You can slide it back and access. It's kind of small compared to the vehicle, but we can tilt it up, move it back first, pull it back again. That's as far back as it goes. Push it forward, and then push it forward to tilt it up. And then this shade is manual. So looking at the visibility in the back, you can see I have some of the seats down and some of the seats up, so you can see the difference there. Having the seats down helps out a lot, because look at the headrest there in the third row. It's like sticking up right in the middle of right in the way. And you have all these pillars in the way. So having that rear view camera is fantastic. Really helps out with that. Of course, the camera system works really well for this, for seeing around the vehicle. Blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, parking sensors, all this technology as well to help you out. But you can see the potential here for having it cluttered up with cargo, with passengers, all that stuff. So that rear view camera is a lifesaver, going from that to a direct view behind the vehicle. Really nice. My initial impression of this vehicle is basically it's a truck without the bed. And the reason why I say that is because it's a traditional SUV where they take a truck frame, a solid truck frame with a V8 engine, and enclose it and make a all-passenger space. So it's a very traditional large SUV that's made for hauling a lot of people, but also significant amount of towing as well. So it's able to tow a lot of weight and carry a lot of passengers, and it's relatively quiet, and it has some luxurious features, being the premium brand of INFINITI, but it has some things about it that are a little bit strange that take some getting used to. And like any other vehicle, you're going to have to get used to certain things. There's certain features, the way that the screen operates, the way you can, the way like this is a touch screen, but it's not easily touched. But it does have the dial down here to operate it. So it's one of those things where you want to be able to learn how to use the dial and everything before you start driving. Also, when I turn on the cruise control, it changes my view here. And so I have to basically change back to the original view that I wanted for some reason. I'm not sure why it does that, but I guess to let you know that the cruise control is now initiated or something. Little things like that you have to get used to. The design is quite a bit different than most other vehicles on the road. It has some round portions here. I'm sitting quite high on the seat, and so I can have good visibility looking down, which is good. There is some issues with visibility, real thick pillars, especially here in the front and in the back. So you want to make sure that that's something that you can get accustomed to. Has small mirrors, which is kind of surprising considering one of the main features that it has is towing capability. But as far as just driving it around, it has a very good turning radius. It's easy to kind of just drive around as if you're not really in a huge vehicle. Once you get used to it, when you first get in it, you're going to say, hey, this is a big vehicle. But once you start driving it and how effortless it is to drive, then it's such a good experience for a large vehicle. And to some degree, having the small mirrors is a good thing, because unless you're towing, you don't need the big mirrors, and big mirrors tend to get in the way. Just look at the Toyota Tundra, the new one, for example. Or just a lot of trucks have large side mirrors, and they just completely get in the way. And they're very bad blind spots. So the seats are comfortable for the most part. They're definitely good, and then the adjustments has plenty of adjustments here. The position of the seat is a little bit higher than what I'm accustomed to in relationship to, say, the steering wheel and stuff, but it does give you that visibility that you need on a big vehicle. And the fact that it has the rear view camera in addition to the rear view mirror helps out a lot, because you can potentially have you can potentially have 6 people behind you, and if they're getting in the way, or if you have a lot of cargo packed up in the back, because there's not a lot of cargo space really, so you have to kind of stack it, suitcases or whatever back there, that could limit your visibility looking out. So having that camera, fantastic. I'm really glad that they added that. Of course, it has the full 360 surround view camera system, and blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, parking sensors. There's plenty of technology to help out with visibility, but that's something that it feels a little uneasy if you can't see out of the vehicle sometimes. So this one, having that camera is really nice. But it's so easy. It's so effortless. It's actually a pleasure to drive, especially on these like a highway or something, highway driving, right now we're not going super fast, but you know, highway speeds, and you know, you have lots of room. It's just really nice because you got that visibility. You have the you should check out my night video. The headlights are really nice too. But if you're in a real tight, compact area, it definitely helps out having that camera system, because it's just a big vehicle. So you want to, you know, if you're getting in a real tight parking space and it's just really jammed up with cars, having that certainty with the camera system of what's directly around you makes a big difference. Yeah, it just has no problem stopping. Now, I don't have any passengers. I'm not towing anything. But just the way it is now, without any cargo or passengers or towing, it just feels like you're driving just like a car or something. It's just that easy to drive. Has some good acceleration. And the transmission seems fine. Hadn't really had any kind of issues as far as being annoying the way it shifts or anything like that. And everything's kind of comfortable to the touch. You know, the steering wheel's nice. It has a nice feel to it. It's a little bit thinner than what I would expect, but since it's so easy to steer and drive, it's not really a big deal. Center console is easy to rest on. Shifter's nice. It's just everything you touch and everything you look at, you can tell it's kind of more upscale than the Armada, for example. Which, don't get me wrong, the Armada is a nice vehicle. So that's something you want to consider, between this, and I think that's the best competitor right now is the Armada to this vehicle. But yeah, check out my night video. There's some pluses and minuses on the lights inside and out. But yeah, there's a lot of positives to say, and you really need to see it, because there's some stuff that, sometimes some things you don't really appreciate unless you actually see it, and you can talk about it, but looking at it makes a big difference to see if it's going to work for you. Like some vehicles, you have to bring a flashlight with you. Because there's just so many issues with it, especially if you're going on a trip, you got family or whatever, and you're trying to, maybe at nighttime, you're trying to find something, kid's toy or something, or maybe you're on the side of the road, you need some kind of emergency thing or whatever, and trying to find something, and if you don't have lights on hand and you have to get a flashlight, then you have to find the flashlight in the dark, so it's one of those things where having existing light makes a big difference. So you check out my night video, and you can judge for yourself. So there you have it. Let me know what you think about this vehicle, and if you have any experience with it, if you've ever used it going on a trip, towed anything with it, what your family thinks about it. It's definitely one of those vehicles that's not for a single person to buy. It's for a person who travels with a family, a large family potentially, and probably is towing something as well. Other than that, it's a little bit inefficient as far as the fuel economy and all that stuff. So so it's hard to justify a vehicle like this unless you're towing and then have a large family as well, and you're traveling a lot, that kind of thing. But anyways, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if that assessment is not 100% accurate there. And sharing your experience really helps out with other people that's watching this video and maybe considering this vehicle. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.